Standing at 700 feet tall and somewhere between 300 to 500 miles long, depending on whether we trust Sam Tarley, who read the distance in a book, the wall is a damn big bitch. It was erected in the Age of Heroes by Brandon the Builder, maybe, to defend against the White Walkers should they ever return. It's really just a giant solid block of ice shaped by the First Men and imbued with magical properties by the Children of the Forest. Whatever they did, it seems to be to White Walkers what garlic is to vampires, or what sunlight is to vampires, or what sharp wooden things are to vampires, I think. But it's so much more than just albino repellent.
The wall sports some heavy defensive advantages and weaponry. When at its peak, the wall had 17 garrisons along the south side with hundreds of men stationed at each outpost. These men, known as the Night's Watch, weren't just criminals. They were noblemen, commoners, and anyone who wanted to defend their country. Skilled warriors? Check. The top of the wall has positioned ballistae capable of skewering giants. Another clever trick the Night's Watch employs is putting barrels with rocks and water on the top floor. They freeze, then drop them, and it hurts like a bitch. But probably the coolest weapon they built was a huge scythe attached to a chain. When released, it swings like a pendulum, smearing wildlings like bugs on a windshield. And lastly, the wall seemingly defends itself by randomly releasing large sheets of ice, thereby deterring, if not preventing, wildling climbers. That's an easy +7 defense bonus.
Though the Night's Watch has had a long tradition of defending Westeros from White Walkers, there is a story about the men of the Night's Fort when the dead sat on the other side of the wall. The Night Fort was the first garrison at the wall and commanded by one of the greatest Lord Commanders ever, a man without fear. It was this courage that led him to leave the wall one night when he saw a beautiful woman wandering in the forest north of the wall. Oh, and she was dead, so maybe courage and creepiness. He gave his heart to this woman and she gave him the gift of magic and White Walkerness. When he returned, he converted all his men to the army of the dead. The Lord Commander, now calling himself the Night's King, began to ready his castle to invade Westeros when an ancestor of the Starks came and burned their shit down. The Night's King narrowly escaped north. Some say the reason for this is that the dead king was brother to the Stark in Winterfell, but all records were destroyed after the raid. I smell a cover-up.